What's up, world? It's your girl, Shirley Pearl, back with another video. This one is for Married to Medicine, Season 12, Episode 1. So happy that my girls are back on the screen. So happy to review them. I am excited. But let me start off by saying everything that I say is my opinion and is alleged. So if you can get with that, then you can get with this. And so let's just jump right in there because I'm here for a very short time. I already did Potomac. Hey, let's get it, keep it rolling. So the episode starts off with Simone at her doctor's office. She has a patient who's there with her husband. The lady is going through menopause, nothing to see there. So then we have Toya driving with her son. We watch them literally grow up on TV. She has some really handsome sons. I believe that's Ashton. He's driving now, so they driving in the car. She telling him to slow down. He's like, "You always drive fast." Then we go to Contessa. It's like a montage, it's just like quick little scenes of everybody. But we go to Contessa. She's coming in the house, look like she's coming from work. Her oldest daughter is blossoming into a very pretty girl. She's like, "Why are you so cute?" And the little girl's like, "Yeah, that's what I am." So then we go to Quad's beautiful house, and she is in her pool with some other ladies. So specifically, one of the ladies' name is Angel Love. And I remember Angel from some years ago, maybe 8, 9 years. She was on Basketball Wives, and very pretty girl, cute shape, pretty chocolate sister, very pretty. And then the other two girls, I don't know who they are, just some BBLs, allegedly queens. So she goes in the kitchen and she's still with King, King who tried to fight Dr. G. And he's making some drinks or whatever. And yeah, you know, they getting a little frisky in the kitchen. Ironically, Quad had her 44th birthday party previously. So they were talking about like Simone and Cecil wasn't there and that they had a good time. But, I'm just gonna jump right in here and say I'm kind of tired of the bullshit with her and Simone. They too old. Simone, you gotta be knocking on the door to 60. And Quiet, you mid 40s, baby. So you knocking on the door to 50 soon. And it's just like, girl, it's tired and through. Either y'all gonna be friends or not. To me, it seemed like some deep rooted jealousy, but on whose part, I don't know because I can't see no beautiful ass doctor with resources and a career being jealous of you, Quad. But sometimes women think they all that, think everybody is jealous of them. But it's just, whatever. But anyway, we're going to move on to the next scene. So the next scene is Dr. Jackie and Simone. They're meeting for lunch. And, you know, that looked like a Cheesecake Factory bag because I love Cheesecake Factory. And Jackie basically asks her, has she talked to Quad? And Simone lets her know that after New York, the reunion, because we had an explosive reunion with them, they was looking like they was about to go at it over the sweet tea thing. And she was like, after New York, I was in the bed 2 days. I was just washed with the situation, but I am not going to keep pandering to somebody playing victim when she talking about Quad. So, like I said, it just seemed like it's some deep rooted stuff, and maybe they should just stay on one side. You stay on the other side and be cordial. Because trying to rebuild something from season one, even if it was anything there, because I don't even remember it being anything there. I remember Simone and Jackie being BFFs until Heavenly came along to squash that up. But basically Simone says, if you can't play nice on her playground, don't step on it. It's just kind of petty, but they then talk about that Simone did a YouTube with Sweet Tea talking about that Quad needs to find out who gonna pay that mortgage or something to that effect. And then she lets Jackie know that she had an interview with somebody about the traders and that she said, who on your cast will be a trader? And she said Simone. What they need to be mindful of is that these interviewers will put stuff, they will ask sneaky questions so that you can answer. So it creates tensions on the show. They usually do it in the off season so it can be brought back to the show. You have to be mindful of that. But I don't even think that was enough to really trip on. But Simone got a little bit of sensitivity with her. So I mean, whatever. So anyway, they pan back to Quad talking about at this time King has came out there with the other girls. They all in bikinis. Now, I'm not insecure, but I wouldn't why is your man out there with all these girls with their ass out? Just kicking it with you about Simone and Cecil and that he tired of it. Boy, you ain't even been around long enough to be tired of shit. Go on. You're just trying to insert yourself to Quad felt like she ain't have a strong man, I believe, in Greg. And then she went all these years without even revealing a man. So now she got this almighty, let me step in the way. And it's just giving like, boy, calm down. Calm down and get you some time on the show before you start going through that. I mean, it's just ugh. And Angel is already inserting herself in it as well, too, saying, well, if you wanted to invite her and she didn't want to come or something to that effect, then I don't blame you because whatever with Angel, please do not make this another basketball situation where you be on an island by yourself. Okay, because remember the other Angel, the one that make dresses, and I don't remember her name, but Brinks or something. But she left you on the island, and Brandy and them started coming for you. So just get to know. Everybody want to be cool with their friend and take on the brunt of their friend's beef. But girl, you know how this reality stuff work. Just Quad is not the Don Dada of this franchise. So be aware, baby, if you want to return visit. So anyway, we go to the next scene. So Eugene pulls up in a little Tesla, Dr. Eugene. And guess what? They in a new house. A house over 3 million. Gone Toya, damn. And yeah, they looking, I mean, everything is custom. She got her wonderful closet, all type of shoes, red bottoms, purses. Toya is she from Detroit, she from my hometown. And y'all heard Biggie, my Detroit players. Pink gators. We in the fashion. We think we baby New York out here. We can dress. And I'm sure they dress in Atlanta, but Toya probably carried a lot of that right from D Town. So they talk about Eugene, he's working like one job is 2 hours away, the other one is 5 hours away. He's saying he's making all this money. He's gone for 5 days. He stays in a room. Toya says something to the effect like, "You can have another family." He like, "I can't afford another family." Yeah, and I'm sure he can't. Toya, all these damn moves, these $1 million houses, and I don't know if your wine club stuff is still carrying you through, but we ain't really seeing you with no income other than the show income. And it may be good by 12 years. I mean, you should be up there. I don't know. I got to Google y'all income. So sometimes Google's be lying, but it looks like he is the one. If the show end, his money got to be enough to be able to pay everything unless you going to go out and get a job. And I just don't see it. So, you see the two boys and they ask Eugene asked the boys, like basically, do you see a difference with me working locally and being away? And they basically say, nah, they don't see a difference. They teenagers. They probably into girls, hormones out of control. Damn, daddy, whatever, long as the bills paid. So then we go to the next scene. We got Scott and Contessa. So Contessa's sitting in her kitchen. I don't know if she's doing some charting or whatever. Scott comes in and he basically was like, you ain't tell me you was at home. She was like, I wanted to get this done before I seen you. So whatever she was doing on the computer. So basically they bought a building in 2023 and they paid over $1 million for it. And they cashed it out. They used their 401k, they used stocks, bonds, RAs, whatever. And it's like 400,000 to renovate it. So they behind the eight ball. It's not complete, you know. And the doorbell rings. So Scott goes to get it. And then it's an invitation like on a sheet of fake grass from Dr. Mimi, the psychiatrist from last year. And she's inviting them to a the Sanders polo event. So then we pan over to Quad. Quad is walking out her house with the invitation, like she just picked it up off the porch. And ironically, she walks up and stands in front of the infamous Rolls Royce. And if you've been following, there was a lot of stories online about that Rolls Royce. And I guess she just want to let us know, as the audience, that she still got it. Because she ain't get in and nothing. She just stood in front of it and let us know it was in the driveway. Okay, Miss Sato. So she picks up the phone and calls Dr. Mimi and basically tells her she got the invite. And Dr. Mimi asks her, have you talked to Simone? Because she's basically like, it shouldn't be nothing going on but a good time. We don't have to have no conversations. And she's like, no, she hasn't talked to Simone, but she not kissing nobody ass because kissing ass don't pay enough for her. Well, Miss Quad, she got it. It had to be a little bit of kissing ass because how you get that little nerdy man to marry you? Allegedly, how you get him to marry you, which ultimately got you on this show where you've been making a career out of, because Sister Circle was short lived. So yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it was some ass kissing, honey. And thanks to Mariah for the hookup, but that's a story for another day. So anyway, we pan to Dr. Mimi and her husband Steve. They arrived at the event with the decorators for the polo event, and they're decorating. The decorations look really nice. It's coming along well. Nothing to see here. Moving on. So then we get to the next scene. We got my girl Simone and Cecil, and then Toya comes over. Toya comes over with her dress. So Eugene is working. He's not able to attend. So I guess Toya is coming to get ready and rad with Cecil and Simone to the event and, get her hair and makeup done and everything there. And when she comes in, Simone basically says, I ain't seen you over here in 8 months since you've been with your new friend, Quad. See, that's that petty shit. And women are very territorial when it comes to friends. I don't know why, I don't know if they need hugs or whatever, but girl, they'll be falling out in a minute. Toya and Quad used to go at it. I guess that Memphis and Detroit, it was a lot. They both, could be seen the rough and tough city. So it was like a battle with them, like who city tougher, who coming out. So basically Cecil asks Toya, you know, what you gonna do if Jackie try to confront you about a watch what happens live comment that she made about Curtis. So some years ago, I can't remember what season, but I remember being disgusted. Curtis had pulled Toya down on his lap. And that was my vantage view from the TV. It looked like he initiated the pull and pulled her down. Now we know Toya is a young, pretty thing, way younger than Miss Jackie, and she got a bump on the back. So it shouldn't have just never happened. So it was asked on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy know what he be doing with them shady ass questions. And Toya basically was like, "It's plenty of people in the group that he and did that too." So allegedly, but yeah, I just remember her. I remember the lady that he was sitting in the airport with that was gonna cost him his marriage, and then I remember Toya. Now they showed a picture with him hugging Heavenly, but Heavenly ain't no beauty queen. I'm sorry, Heavenly, but you're not, baby. You're not. I mean, you did a lot of work, baby, but you're not. Okay. So anyway, basically, in a nutshell, Cecil was telling them, don't go tit for tat. He also says if Heavenly's been a jerk and she been wrong, you're gonna have to pay for that at reunion. Damon gonna be trying to fight you, and just keep it cool, keep it cute and mute. So anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, which is the last scene, which is the day of the event. So the first person to arrive, or the first people to arrive, is Dr. Jackie and Curtis. And Dr. Jackie can dress. I'm just gonna throw that in there. For that lady to be in her 60s, she be dressing shoes, hair, everything. She has on a polka dot skirt set is very cute. She looks nice. Curtis, not so much. So they're greeted by Mimi and Steve, and they show a montage of Steve with all this Louis Vuitton stuff on. Like he always has a Louis Vuitton piece. And I hope you're getting a check from him. But anyway, the next people to arrive is Contessa and Dr. Scott. And they come in, they, greeted by Mimi, they get their drink, and Mimi asks Contessa, has she heard from any of the other ladies? And she was like, not since Quiet Birthday. And then she also goes on to say, it was a shady invitation to invite Simone 2 hours on the day of. And it was, the way these ladies get together with hair and makeup and everything, and it's such a scene. You don't know if camera's gonna be up. You did not want her to come. You just didn't want to not invite her. And, basically Dr. Mimi pleads the fifth, which lets me know she didn't already chose a side in the friend group. She basically said earlier that she is Dr. Mimi and then she Mimi. And her and Quad been hanging 3, 5, 4 in the morning anyway. So we kind of seeing where her loyalty is. So the next person to arrive is Toya. She's with Cecil and Simone. And I guess the newcomer, Brandy, and her husband. And Brandy is a nurse practitioner who has a beauty lab. She does Botox, all that type of stuff that they get. She has some type of medical spa with Botox, fillers, facials. And Toya asked Jackie, where your other half? And she like, Curtis? She was like, no, Heavenly. And she was basically like, well, Heavenly is running for vice president of the United States. She's in the politics. And then she cleans it up and says, but she is running for office. And Toya basically like, girl, wouldn't nobody vote her into the PTA? And I agree. Heavenly, you've been ignorant your whole time on this show, baby. Just ignorant, nasty. I don't know how you could clean it up for politics unless you going out of Trump's book, that ignorant, nasty, and just don't give a damn wins election. Then you might be on to something. So we'll see. But it's ironic that, Heavenly is not in the scene. She ain't even in this episode. And some stuff is coming out about her son, some alleged arrests that Simone earlier confirmed was true. So, these people who keep up these images, remember, Heavenly is the one that has sex every night. But, we know that ain't true. And basically, Dr. Jackie tells her, I was also told that it ain't none of y'all business. And Mimi echoes that. She kind of says that Heavenly said, we'll talk. So, she don't want nobody to know. She don't want nobody to question her about that son, you know. But moving on, we get to a point where Toya asks Jackie, like, Is Curtis mad at me? He ain't spoke to me. And Jackie goes on talking about, well, you didn't put him in a good light when you made the comment about him touching people in a group. Well, he did. And he didn't put himself in a good light, honey. It was very uncomfortable to watch, especially after what y'all went through. So, Jackie, girl, get a clue. You messy. You messy as hell. Just like you asked that new girl something. Did she have a medical condition? And your ass was dead wrong. It goes back to when you told that other lady that she was infertile, or you a messy bitch. And I used to like you, but girl, I don't know if you're just trying to keep your stethoscope on the show or whatever, but you messy. And I got my good eye on you. This the first episode and you coming with some bullshit. So in true fashion, then we have Simone. And Simone asks the crowd, would anybody accept the invitation 2 hours before the event? Toya comes out and says, not quite. So you can see the alliance that Toya and Simone is cool. They gonna have each other back. Um and hey, that we learning this on all the shows that people gotta have an alliance. You gotta have somebody to have your back. So, her and Quad kind of go back and forth, and Quad is like, rah rah rah, acting like she want to get some smoke, and basically, Simone is standing on. I know so much about you, heard so much about it. You don't want to go there with me, so they don't get into an argument. It's dead in the water, but I just feel like Quad is super insecure. I do. I feel like she's super insecure. And I don't know why, because she talk a game like she all that, but it don't come out. And it doesn't show on camera. You know what I'm saying? But Mimi comes in and shuts it down for the sake of her event and said that they need to talk at some point or whatever. But it don't really go no further. But Simone, she not scared. She ain't no punk. But I'm just interested to see that if they gonna get back to a place or it's just gonna be what it is. And to me, I feel like it should be what it is, because that reunion, them snatching her up out of there. Simone, you a doctor, boo. You ain't about to fight this woman. Just let her be. I know you will cuss her ass out, but just let her be. She ain't your friend. Y'all knew that when she got on Sister Circle. So I'm interested to see where this gonna go. But Married to Medicine is my show. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm invested. So like, comment, and subscribe and share the video. And I will see you next week for episode 2. Let's see what they gonna do. All right. Bye.